Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be attempting the social links profile challenge from Frontend Meta. So you can head over into frontendmeta.io/challenges and you can click on this card and then you can say start challenge, and then we're going to say download starter, and that is going to download the starter files for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and save it because it is in my downloads folder. And once it downloads, I'm just going to navigate into my downloads folder. So downloads, and then it is the zip file right here. I am going to extract it. So if I remember how to extract, okay, there we go. So once it extracts, you can see that we're going to have this folder right here. So I'm going to right click here and then I'm going to say open in terminal because I want to just go ahead and say code dot, which is going to open up Visual Studio Code into this folder that we've just created, and then we can begin. So as we begin, you can see that we have the assets folder, we have the design folder, and then we have the git ignore, the index.html, and all the required files. So the first thing that I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go back into my downloads folder, and then inside my downloads folder, I'm going to open up the design, and I want to go ahead and open up the desktop preview and maximize this, and then let's check out how the mobile looks like. So the mobile is just basically the very same as the desktop, really, only with a smaller screen, right? Okay, and then this is the active state. So for the active state, it gets this green background color for the buttons. So what we're going to do therefore is this. We are going to go into our workspace. We're going to create a new file called index.css, and then inside our index.html, we're going to grab these two lines. So grab these two lines, cut them out, paste them inside our index.css, and then we're going to remove this part. And then I want to go ahead and grab Tailwind CSS just to help us with the styling, or I don't know, maybe I can do it even with just vanilla CSS. So let me do this. Here I'm going to place my link to my website, so TSB, that I really need to renew. I want it to open a new tab, so I'm going to say target is equal to underscore blank, and then with a rel of no referrer to present cross-site scripting, and then I'm going to add in my name right there. And then once we do that, I want to grab this entire thing, place it inside a div with a class of container, because this is what we're going to be using to style everything out. And then I want to go ahead and link my index.css, so link index.css. Now I'm going to save that, but it's going to break a bit, as you can see, because I have prettier enabled, so it automatically formats it for me. But what I'm going to do is I want to open this up using live server. So I'm going to say right click and say, wait, do I not have that extension? Let's check. So it's called live server. So live server. Okay, I wonder when I uninstalled it. So just go ahead and install live server from your extensions, and then once it installs, you can go back into our index.html, right click and say open with live server. Okay, and then I'm going to say Control Z so that it undoes the formatting, because I want to take a look at that still. And there we go. So this is what we have on the screen. So the first thing that I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go inside my index.css, and then I want to open up my style guide.markdown file, because I want to go ahead and begin adding some global styles. So the dark gray should be the background color. So I'm going to copy this HSL value, and then inside my index.css, I'm going to go at the top, add a space here, and then I'm going to say that for the body is going to have a background color of that HSL that I just copied. And then let's go ahead and reset our style. So reset the margin to 0, reset the padding to 0, and reset the box sizing to border box. And that should be fine. So now let's go ahead and save that. And this should now turn black. Yes, that's good. And then let's go inside the class of container. So for the dot container class, I'm going to give it a background color of, let's go check this out. Should be, I think maybe let's test it out this color. So paste it in, is it? Okay, it should be the opposite. I think it should be the opposite. Let's take a look. Yes, it should be the opposite. So the darker color should be on the body. So this should say 8%, and then this should say 12%, so that the colors are reversed. Okay, and then let's go ahead and say that for the container, we're going to give it a width of 300 pixels, and a max width. Why not? Let me not do that. Let me give it a max width of 400 pixels. Save it, so that now it's going to be limited right there. And then let's bring it to the center. So the way we do that is we're going to go to the body. We're going to say display flex on the body, because the container is the only thing inside the body. I mean the container and this div of the attribution. But we're going to fix that. So we're going to say the following: display flex, align intent center, and justify content to the center. And that is going to bring it right here. And then we're going to say give it a min height of 100 viewport heights, which is going to bring it to the center. And then we're going to change the flex direction to column, so that this text comes on the bottom. So right here, flex direction column, and there we go. And then let's go inside the container, give it a padding all around of 24 pixels, give it a border radius of 10 pixels, and we're going to have that looking fantastic. Now I want to place this to the right, and then I want to go ahead and place this to the left, so that we can style this out much faster. Now, how do we structure this? So this is, we have an image here, we have an h1, and then some text about them. So we're going to do this. I'm going to say that we have an image on top. So image coming from /assets/images/avatar. And then below this, we're going to grab this, cut it out, place it inside an h1. And then inside the h1, I'm going to place a span, and then I'm going to grab this and place it inside the span. And then we're going to style this differently. And then this is going to be a paragraph, so a paragraph. And then for this, I'm going to cut them out and place them inside an unordered list. Each of them is going to be a list item. So just go ahead and cut this out. Really, cut this out, place it as a list item. Cut this out, place it as a list item. And the same for this one, and the same for this one. And then we can remove this space right there. Okay. Actually, Lord, probably they should be buttons inside. I think it would be much better if they are buttons, because technically they are links, right? But we don't have anywhere where they're linking to. You can place your own links if you want, but since I don't have the actual links, I'm just going to place buttons inside here. And then this is going to be a button that says Frontend Mentor. And then this is a button that says LinkedIn. And then another button that says Twitter. And then another button that says Instagram. So let's go ahead and save that, and we're going to have that. Okay. Now let's begin to style this out to look better. So the first thing that we need to do is remove these bullets. So I'm going to say that for the UL, then list style type, set it to none. Remove the bullets. And then let's go inside the first image. So inside the dot container, we want to grab the image, give it a width of about 80 or 80 pixels, and the height of 80 pixels, and then give it a border radius of 50%, so that it is completely rounded. Okay, let's see how this looks. That looks okay. That looks okay. And then we're going to say that for the image, we're going to say display block, and then give it a margin inline of auto, meaning margin on the left and right, so that now it is centered. And then give it a margin on the bottom of, let's say, 1.25 rem, which is about 20 pixels. Okay. And then let's go inside the h1. So for the dot container h1, give it a font size of 1.5 rem. And then we're going to change its color to white. So color #white. Okay. And then we're going to say text align center. And then for the dot container h1, we want to go ahead and get the span, and the color for the span is going to be the green color. So let's grab it right here, copy and paste it. There we go. And then the span, we want it to go on a new line, so we're going to say display block. And then we're going to reduce the font size to 1 rem. Okay, that looks fine. What else do we need to change? Nothing really. We just need to go ahead and say give it a margin of, let's say, 0.5 rem on the top, 0 on the left and right, and 1 rem on the bottom. Fantastic. And then let's go ahead and grab the paragraph. So container paragraph, change the color to white, #white, And then let's go inside the container UL. So container dot container. For the UL, we're going to say, I want this to be a grid. So display grid with grid template columns. I mean, we don't need to have that really, do we? Let me say add a grid gap of about 0.5 rem. And then let's go inside the button. So with the container UL list item button, I'm going to set the width to 100% so that they span the entire width. I'm going to give them a padding of 1 rem on the top and bottom. I mean, you can even do 1 rem all around really, because I mean the text doesn't even reach this other side, so you're not going to see the effect of the padding on the left and right. And then we're going to give them a background color. What is their default background color? They're even lighter, even lighter than that. So let's just go ahead and say HSL and then paste this in. Maybe make this about 18%. Maybe. Let's remove the border, so border none, so that it moves that ugly outline. And then outline, we're also going to set it to none. And then the text color, we're going to change it to white. Move this up and move this down, Save it. Okay. And what else do we need to do? The font size. So font size is going to be 1 rem by default, because buttons have a smaller font size. And then on the list item, on the UL, I'm going to give it a margin top of about 1.5 rem, pushed away from the button. Okay, 1.5 rem, maybe 2 rem. Okay, wait, is that even working? 5 rem. Okay, it's working. So 2 rem. And then let's go ahead and for the button, let's change the cursor to pointer. Okay, save it. And then now we need to add the hover effect. So copy this part, and then we're going to target the hover state for the button. So on hover, we want the background color to be HSL, the green color, so this one. Save it, and we're going to have that. And then we need the text to go back to a darker color. So the text is going to be HSL, and I'm going to select this one. So there we go. Okay, I think the font is bold, yes. So here, not on the hover but on the button. So font size, font weight, make it bold. Fantastic. And then the buttons have a border radius. So right around here, I'm going to give it a border radius of about 1 rem. Okay, 1 rem is a bit too much, I think. It's a bit too much, so let's reduce it to 0.5 rem. 0.5. Fantastic. And then let's add a slight transition on that. So transition all the properties by 0.15 seconds, and then ease in out. And there we go. Fantastic. Looking nice. Now I think this width is a bit too small. I feel it's a bit too squeezed. So where did I give it the max width? It should be on the container, really. Is it container right here? Max width 400. Let me set it to 500. I mean, okay, I know what's happening. It's max width 400, but I need to make the width span the entire length, so 100%. There you go. So now it's 400, and even on larger screens it looks nice, as you can see. Now the reason why it looks like this on larger screens is because this part right here, where's the max width 400, and then the flex on the body already sent us this even on larger screens. We just need to change the text color for this attribution. So right on the bottom, we can set this to about 13 pixels, and then change the color to white, and we're going to have that. And then perhaps give it a margin top of 1 rem of the supports, and we have that. Fantastic. So all we need to do now is just, oh wait a minute, this text is not centered. So on the paragraph, we just need to say text align center. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and submit this. So I'm going to open up GitHub, and then I'm also going to open up Netlify. So in my GitHub, I'm going to create a new repository. So loading. Let me make this full screen, and then we can close all of this down. So let's go ahead and create a new repository, and let's call it social links profile. Let me just say fm dash so that we know that it is a front-end mentor challenge, and then create repository. Then let's copy this part and go back inside our workspace, Control J to open up our terminal. Loading. We can close the server, we are no longer using it. And then I'm going to say git init to initialize an empty git repository, and then git add assets. And oh, wait a minute, this has fonts. I just remembered. It has fonts. Oh, it uses the inter font. So let's go back inside our index.html. Let's reopen this up on live server, because we need to go ahead and add the font that it uses rather than the what's it called, the default font of the system. So once this is open up, you can see that we obviously have our application, but I'm going to navigate into my index.css, and then in my index.css I'm going to go ahead and say the following. We want to go ahead and grab the static font, the interregular. So I'm going to say add font face, and it even gives me the outline for the properties that we're going to need. So for the font family, I'm going to call this inter, and then the URL is going to be going into /assets /fonts /static /interregular.ttf. And then on my universal selector, so I want everything to have a font family of inter, which we have just defined on top. So I'm going to save that, and when we reload the application, nothing happens. Well, because you know what, we need to go ahead and define the format of the font. So it is a true type font, so TTF, as you can see by the extension right here. So when I save that, you can see that now the font changes. So that is looking much better. Now we can go ahead and deploy this. So let's continue. So git add assets, and then git commit, and I'm going to say assets, or rather let me say fonts and images, and then git add design, and oops, I can't spell design, and git commit, and I'm going to say design files, okay, with one, okay, and then git add index.css, git commit, and I'm going to say styles for the application, and then git add index.html, and git commit, and I'm going to say HTML structure, and then git add everything that has an extension of .md, so all the 3 files, and then git commit, and I'm going to say readme, readmes, and style guide, and then git add .git ignore, and git commit, and I'm going to say git ignore, then git remote add origin, and then we need to go ahead and copy our link here. So copy this link and then paste it here, and then git branch -M main, and then git push -u origin main, which is going to push it to our remote repository. And then we can reload that, and then on Netlify we're going to say add a new site, and we're going to use an existing project from GitHub, and we're going to search for social links. So let us search, make sure that this is on GitHub. It has finished, so we should see it. There we go. Fantastic. So let's let this search, and there we go. And loading, and we're just going to go ahead and say we don't have any of these settings, so we're just going to say deploy, and then we're going to wait for a few moments, and then it is going to be ready for us. We can go into site configuration to change the site name here, and I'm going to say TsbSankara, let me say social links profile, long name, will fit, okay. So social links profile, save it, and then now we can take a look, and there we go. So there is our application looking nice. So let's copy this link, let's go back into Frontend Mentor, close this one, should be this one, and then we're going to go ahead and say submit solution. So the live site URL is this one, paste it in. The repository is this one, copy and paste it in. And then I'm going to say mobile first social links profile in HTML and CSS, and then we can just go ahead and say submit solution, and there we go. So our solution is complete, and we can take a look at the solution right here. And where is it? Right there. Would you look at that? Almost, I think we even got the everything exactly the same. The only difference is that if we remove the attribution, then it's going to be the exact thing. And so that is going to be the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I'm trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. It's been quite a journey. I hope you can help me to reach there, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.